Hello there. What a beautiful day it is outside. Team Wimberley, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. From wherever in the world you happen to be right now, we would like to welcome you to our corner of the world, Skirt Culture. Skirt Culture is an upscale space created to help you unwind from the grind of the day. While you are listening to us here today, or watching, if you happen to be watching, you will receive pertinent information that you can use as applicable, executable steps to improve your life. Because here at Skirt Culture, we help you reach for the stars while allowing you the space to be utterly human. So I thank you for being here with me today. And if this is your first time in this space, or if you happen to be watching a rerun of this episode, allow me to gracefully inform you that you can catch this show every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 6 p.m. To watch it, please make your way to caju.tv, or to listen to it, please make your way to radiocaju.com. Of course, you can find all this information by following our Facebook page, mrswimberly.com. Other ways for you to remain in contact with us will be via Instagram or TikTok. For those two platforms, we have the same handle, which is Mrs. Wimberly _life now. And for YouTube, we have Mrs. Wimberly. And you can always email us at life@mrswimberly.com. The phone number where we can be reached is 904-323-2539. Now, to get you in the right mood before our motivational segment, we're going to take a short musical break. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Skirt Culture. This is your motivational segment. Now that you are in the right mood, relaxed and unbattered, hopefully you are with a glass of cocktail or wine or some refreshing lemonade, or maybe it's a tall glass of sweet peach tea. Myself, I am a mango flavored type of gal, but hey, it's not about me. This space is created just for you. So your motivational segment, I would like you to think of it as an intellectual massage. So get ready. Your intellectual massage session is about to start. Well, your motivational massage session, or your motivational segment, your intellectual massage session, we will start that by gently reminding you that today is May 15, 2024. Yes, May 15, 2024, which means we have already exhausted just about 36.9% of the year. Can you believe it? 36.9% of the year is already gone. Meaning, in other words, 136 days of the year is spent. Unbelievable. However, this is not to discourage you. Do not despair. The good news is that we still have 230 days remaining in the year. 230 days ahead of us. The important things to remember is that it ain't over until it is over. You still have time to make some boss move to ensure that your year was not wasted per se, that when you look back on 2024, you can say that you are satisfied with the way you have spent the year. And of course, this is your motivational segment. So we're going to give you some tips, some practical executable steps that you can take to ensure that when you look back on your year, you are very satisfied and all the boxes are checked. The exercise that we are going to get you through is to help you to go back or to start, if you have not started, to get you in the right mind so you can start making those butts move. Are you ready for your intellectual massage session or for your cerebral moment? Okay, get ready. The first exercise is to imagine that you are in December 2024, of course, December of this year. And to be exact, let's say December 31st. So imagine that you are either at a bar or in your friend's living room, or you are away celebrating the new year, or if you are anybody like me, you will be in your living room on your knees. That's what I do on New Year's Eve. But okay, let me not disturb your concentration. Imagine you are wherever you happen to be on December 31st, 2024. You're waiting for the drop of the big ball of 2025. You are surrounded with friends. Champagne is flowing. You are happy. You have your little New Year's hat on, or maybe it's the 2025 glasses that you have on. You are in a party mode, okay? So the ball dropped. Everybody's happy, kissing each other, if that's one of your tradition. You're doing that, and then, afterwards, everybody's, yay, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And then the music comes on, da, 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 da. Happy New Year. Yes, it's a great thing, right? It's a great event. But whenever you get yourself calm again, whether it's you had gone home or it's at 1 o'clock when all the partying stop and you are rethinking about 2024. Are you gonna have, how many boxes are you gonna have checked? Boxes from the goals that you have set for 2024. And my first question for you is, in this scenario that I just described, while you are partying, or you are done partying, or you are in the middle of partying, whenever you do your little reflection act, are you able to clearly express some specific goal or specific goals, if you have more than one, that you have set for the year 2024, and you can tell yourself that I've achieved them? Check. My boxes are checked off. Would you be able to tell yourself that? Would you be able to clearly express what those goals were and how you have achieved them? Whatever the answer to this question is, it's either gonna be yes or no, or maybe you say not completely. So while you are thinking about that, while you are thinking of where you will be between those three answers, let me give you a quote to support you on that exercise that we are doing. The first quote that I have for you is from John Ron, and it's a plan like an adult, but believe like a child. This quote is to remind you, or to remind us, to not limit ourselves in the goals and the dreams that we are setting for ourselves. It's important to plan like an adult and believe like a child. Which brings us to question number 2 on the exercise that we are doing for your motivational segment. Question number 2 is, if you answered yes to the first question, meaning yes, you will be able to clearly express those goals that you have set for 2024, and you are able to achieve them. Remember, we are in December 31st, 2024. So you are able to achieve them by that time. What are the corresponding steps that you are taking right now that we are still in 2024, because it's a flashback exercise that we are doing? What are the corresponding steps that you are taking right now that will help you to make that yes that you're saying right now, that we say, oh yes, in December 31st, I will be able to say that I've achieved them. So what are the corresponding steps that help you, that are helping you right now to make sure that this yes is true, that this yes is still true in December 31st, 2024? What are those steps? The quote that I have that you may want to write it down to support you in this question is, a goal without a plan is just a wish. The quote is from a French author, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. It says, a goal without a plan is just a wish. And now question number 3, which is our final question for this exercise, is, what is your strategy to remain motivated and resilient in the face of challenges until you reach the finish line? Because that's the goal of this segment. The motivational segment is to get you to the finish line, but whatever it takes, because we at Skirt Culture, we are a bridge that you can, that is there to support you in your journey to reach the finish line. And whatever that finish line looks like for you, we are here for you. Like I say, I'm going to continue to repeat that. We are a safe space that we create just for you. We help you reach the stars while you are being human. So we understand if along the way you get discouraged. We understand if along the way you face challenges that you may feel like you are not equipped to deal with. We understand if you stop and pause in between. That's what we are here for. We are a safe space for you to come and breathe and get encouragement and get equipped and find resources, or even find a mentor, whatever it's needed for you to accomplish that. And of course, the quote that I have for you for this question, for our last question, is from Mr. Nelson Mandela himself, who says, the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. That's a great quote. That is one of my favorite quotes, actually, because I particularly love this quote because I feel like our society has been conditioned to applaud people who seemingly has a straight track to success. However, I think there is greater beauty, or I can even say heroism, in getting back up every time you fall and taking note of the lesson learned from the fall, than pretending that you have never fallen ever. I think the beauty is in getting back up every time, which brings to mind a Japanese proverb that I've heard several times before and remembered by now, that says, fall 7 times, stand up 8. I just love that. Because, I am adamant about the fact that the space that I have created, this space, Skirt Culture, is a very safe space, non-judgmental. We help you reach for the stars while we are allowing you the space to live out your humanity. Now, take a deep, cleansing breath. We are leaving the intellectual massage space and we are making our way to the workplace arena. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our next musical break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Skirt Culture. Now that your mental muscles have been properly massaged, I hope that you are ready. This is the workplace segment of the show. This segment is less than a massage, a little bit more of a gentle workout. If you are someone who is responsible for the performance of others in the context of your job or as in the context of a professional status, this segment is for you. Because in this segment, I provide the leader in you the space to assess her or his leadership style. I also make room for you to explore new school of thoughts by offering you empirical and experiential wisdom on how to navigate the different aspect of leadership, the different aspect of management, of being part of a team, or getting promoted, or getting into a new position. So different aspect of being an integral part of this modern workplace. Fittingly so, for this inaugural episode, we are starting with the topic of effective leadership in the modern workplace. Under this topic, today we are discussing the subject of trust. So according to Gallup, before I get you to the statistic, let me ask you a question. How much do you think employees trust the leadership of their organizations? I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about that. How much do you think employees trust the leadership of their organization, or even the leadership of the department to which they belong? So according to Gallup, and if you spend any time in corporate America or in corporate period, you know who Gallup is. You know their authority and their credibility on establishing statistics for different aspect or different ratio or different subject or different topic in the business world altogether. So according to Gallup, only 23% of U.S. employees strongly agree that they trust their leadership, and that was this year. They made the study last year, 2023, so they revealed the result in 2024. That was this year. This is not good. Well, this is indeed not good. However, my next question when I hear those kind of statistics is, why is that? Why is only 23% of U.S. employees strongly agree that they trust the leadership of their organization? Well, there are many elements that are involved in this decline of trust toward organizational leadership. But since we have a schedule to keep up for the duration of the show, I will sum it up for you. I will tell you that the main reason for the distrust is that employees feel like they are not being listened to. They are not being heard. There are several ways that that feeling is being manifested or is being felt within the organization. So today we're going to talk about only 5 of those ways. The first way we can mention is that if your employees are being left in the dark and there is no effective communication on the direction of the business, at least at their level, then they're going to certainly be not trusting. They're not going to be trusting of the leadership of the organization. The second way is that if you, as the leader, you are tolerating toxic behavior among them, among the team that you oversee, or among the organization in general, if you are in the C-suite because you are responsible for the whole organization, that will constitute another way for employees to feel like they are not being listened to. Because when you tolerate toxic behavior, the other employees that are not participating in that kind of behavior, they most likely are complaining or murmuring about that behavior. And if you are not doing anything about it, then fittingly so, they are feeling that they are not being listened to. The third way, if they express their sentiment about being overworked and nothing is being done about it, that's another cause for them to feel like they are not being listened to. The fourth way is if you as the leader, you are not being transparent about organizational policies, or there are confusion about metrics of evaluation, like the employees are not quite clear on how success is evaluated for their position or for them specifically, that's a major cause. And the last one we will mention today is that if they are under the impression that you don't trust them to do their jobs properly, and or they are not being properly equipped for success by the organization, they certainly are not going to trust the leadership. Those are the 5 ways that we will mention today that can make employees feel like they are not being listened to. And if you are a leader, or you maybe happen to be a direct report, you feel like I left out certain area, like there are more that I could say about that, please do write a comment. I would love to be enlightened. I would love to hear your insight or to read about your insight in the comment section. So please leave me a comment and let me know if I miss anything in that area. Now that we have identified the core reason that make employee not trust their leadership, and we have talked about the many ways that that sentiment can manifest itself within the organization, let's talk about what employers or leaders can do about it, because we don't want to believe that all hope is lost. So I'm going to try to make one thing clear before we move any further. I want every leader, every employer, or every person who is responsible for other people, for who have a span of control over any type of direct report in any type of relationship, professional relationship. I'm talking in type of relationship, meaning whether it's, dotted line reporting or direct line reporting. That's what I mean when I say any type of relationship. I want to make one thing clear before we move any further. And if you did not hear anything from this section, I need you to hear this part. The burden to establish trust rests on the shoulders of the employer. I'm going to repeat it for the back seat. The burden to establish trust rests on the shoulders of the employer. Let's talk about the rationale behind the statement that I just made. The employee trusted you by the step that he or she took to become your employee, or I should say the candidate or the applicant, if we want to go way back there, the applicant, because we know, I don't know let me know if I need to do a podcast about the difference between an applicant, a candidate, and an employee, but the applicant trusted you already by accepting your job offer. So what you said in the job description that you had placed online, the employee trusted it. The employee trusted that that's really, a high profile view of the role. They trust you on that. And then they apply. So when you have accepted their application and you put them through the selection process, everything that you have said about the company's culture, the company's policies, the company's mission, everything that you say, through your presence online, to your virtual presence, the candidate trusted that. And that's why they continued through the selection process to become your employee. So they already trusted you in that matter, in that fashion already. They even trusted that the compensation that you have proposed to them is the best that you can do. Because even if they have negotiated the compensation that was previously offered, like for example, let's just say that the first time you are offering them the job, you say, okay, the compensation for this position is $90,000 a year. And they like, oh, okay, thank you, let me think about it. And then they went and they thought about it, and then they came back with a counter offer. They say, okay, the position, after I've learned several things about the position, I was thinking more in the range of, I don't know, 105 to 120. And you guys ended up agreeing on 115. They trust that that 115 is really the best that you can do for them, that you can propose to them, and the best that you can do for the role in which they are entering your company. That trust is on you now. Okay, I know. I just dropped a big one on you. I kind of give you a big one. You probably did not know that. You probably, because I've heard several times in my professional career, I've heard managers, supervisors, even C-suite executive talking about, oh, I don't trust so-and-so, or I think they haven't proved their trust yet, or they haven't proven themselves yet, those kind of language. And please, I am not saying that there are no instances where the employee, there's a trust issue and the trust comes from the employee in the case of, stealing company property, whether it be intellectual property or actual tangible property. This is why, in HR, we work very closely with loss prevention when it comes to when we work in organizations that manage those kind of assets. We work very closely with the risk management department. So I am not saying that there is not instance where the trust doesn't, establishing trust or recovering trust doesn't come from the employee. This is not what I'm saying, but I'm talking in leadership matters. In leadership matters, now that I've put that on your shoulder, now that I make you come to that understanding, and because this is skirt culture, where we help you to reach for the stars while allowing you the space to be utterly human, to live through your humanity, I cannot leave you without giving you some pointers or some applicable executable step on how to establish trust within your team or within your span of control. So let's talk about it. I'm going to allow you the time to go get yourself something to write on, whether it's a electronic device, whether it's a notepad, whether it's a recording device, whatever it is, but get ready, because I'm going to give you the acronym for trust for you as a leader, so you can get that established within your span of control. So we'll take our next musical break, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Skirt Culture, and this segment is the continuation of the Modern Workplace segment. And in this segment today, we are discussing effective leadership in the modern workplace. So under this topic, today we are discussing trust. And before the break, we had talked about how the burden to establish trust rests on the shoulder of the employer. But because we had put that on your shoulder, we are here to help. We're going to tell you, or give you rather, an acronym that will make it easy for you to establish trust within your span of control in the organization. So the first letter of the word trust is T, and that stands for transparency. It is important for you as the leader to share information openly and honestly with your team members. It's important also for you to communicate openly about goals, challenges, decisions, new policies, or new directions that the organization is taking or that is commensurate of your team's position or role or functional area. It's important also for you to encourage open dialogue and feedback and fostering a culture of transparency. We cannot, as leaders, we cannot be afraid of hearing our team members' honest opinion. The second letter is R, and R is for reliability. Reliability. It's important for you as a leader to follow through on commitment and promises that you made to your team. Consistently delivering high quality work and meet deadlines is one of the best ways to establish trust within your team. Another aspect for you to consider is under reliability is to be dependable and trustworthy in your action and your decision. You cannot be in meeting to the higher up telling them that you're going to take on a project, and then when you turn around, you are in meeting with just your team, you just throw the project onto somebody else's plate. Yes, there is delegation. This is not what we are talking about. Delegation is different than throwing your own work into somebody else's plate and then turn around and take credit for that work when it is completed. The third letter of the word trust is the letter U, and U today is for understanding. Take the time to listen actively and empathetically to your team members. Seek to understand their perspectives, concerns, and needs. Also, show compassion and support for their personal and professional challenges. See them as a whole human being, not just an employee. Hence the phrase, bringing your whole self to work. Please let me know in the comment if I need to do a segment on just that, because today in the HR world, we are talking about empathetic leadership. Let me know if I need to do a podcast just on empathetic leadership, what it means, how do we demonstrate empathetic leadership in a practical way in the workplace. Let me know in the comments if I need to do one on that. But it is important to be understanding. It is important to see your employee as a whole. When you celebrate them, you don't just celebrate their accomplishment, but you celebrate them as a person. You celebrate them as an individual. Not just the accomplishment, not just attaboy for getting the project on time, attagirl for delivering great customer service. No, you celebrate them as a person, as a whole. And the fourth letter today is S, and S today will be for support. It's important for you to provide mentorship, coaching, and guidance to help your team members succeed. And please let me know in the comment if I need to do a podcast on the difference between a mentorship and a coaching situation. I need to know if you need more explanation on what's the difference between mentoring somebody and coaching somebody. Okay? Let me know in the comment if I need to do one on that. Also under support, it's very important to offer resources, training, development opportunities to support their growth. We cannot be afraid of training or equipping our direct reports under the pretense that they will leave us when they have the information, or they will leave us when they have the proper education, or they will leave us when they have the proper training. This is not good leadership. This is being a boss. We need to provide the adequate support for them to succeed. And of course, it is so important. One of the best way that you can demonstrate support for your team members, for your direct reports, is by advocating for their needs and their interests within the organization. It's to stand for them in rooms where they are not, because it speaks volume on your leadership style or your leadership identity when you, as a leader, you stand up for your people when they are not even present. And don't think that it's not gonna get to them. It's gonna get to them, that you were taking their side, that you are defending them. And that, my friend, is one of the best way to establish trust within your team. The last letter of the word trust is the letter T. How ironic. We finish with the same letter that we started, but it doesn't stand for the same thing as the first letter. The first T was for transparency. The last T is for teamwork. It is important to foster a collaborative and inclusive environment where everyone's contributions are valued. Now, let me know in the comment if I need to make a podcast to explain the difference between when you are creating competition within your team just for incentives and what it means to foster a collaborative environment. That doesn't mean that you cannot have a little contest, to get people incentivized or to get people motivated per se. This is not what we are talking about. We're talking about the culture of the team. A contest is something that you do for one project or for a specific period of time or for something specific, or maybe there's a Super Bowl and you have ticket to the Super Bowl, or maybe there's a game, a national game, and you have ticket for it, and you'd say, okay, let's do a contest to see who wins the ticket, because you don't want to play favorite and just give it to your best friend or your favorite employee. This is not what we are talking about. We're talking about the culture of your team. We're talking about fostering a collaborative and inclusive environment where you are intentional as the leader to let everybody know, that their contributions are valued, that you encourage teamwork. And that's another thing also, how to encourage teamwork and maintain accountability at the same time. Because I see a lot of leaders are being tripped up on those two concepts, doing teamwork and make people accountable for their responsibility. Encouraging teamwork and cooperation and mutual support among team members does not mean that Joe get to pass on all of his work to Sally because Sally is the one who have the end of the project. Joe needs to be held accountable for his part of the project. So let me know in the comment if I need to make a specific podcast about those differences, because I'm game if you game. So lastly, under teamwork, I will say lead by example. Demonstrate a willingness to collaborate and work together toward shared goals. Leading by example is a major element of establishing trust among your team members. I am truly hoping that today you had a chance to relax, unwind with me, but also to receive pertinent information that you can use in your life as practical, executable steps to make your life better. Thank you for being with us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back tomorrow. We would like to remind you that Skirt Culture is a product of MrsWimberly.com. Please follow our Facebook page, MrsWimberly.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mrs. Wimberly, Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Mrs. Wimberly _life now. Thank you.